Well, let's talk to Peter Conradi, who is, of course, a Europe editor of the Sunday Times. Yesterday, Keir Starmer and a whole bunch of leaders of European nations met up in Hungary, in Budapest to be precise, to talk about, amongst other things, how to deal with the small boat situation, how to deal with the mass migration problems, and how to deal with a sort of a pro-Europe-wide conversation. Peter, very good morning to you.
Good morning. And first of all, I'm sorry I can't quite match the passion that Joe just brought to the programme, but maybe it's quite late at night there.
Yeah, I think maybe he might have had a couple of whiskies or something. I don't know, but he's a great guy. I do like him, and it's a great. Also, I mean, isn't it wonderful to be able to have a row with somebody without sort of falling out with them and calling them all sorts of horrible names and going, you know, I can never speak to you again. Be gone. What happened yesterday in Budapest? Because it seemed to be a bit of a jolly. There were people there from countries other than those in the European Union. Was anything particular achieved?
Well, I mean, Budapest is not a bad place for a jolly to start with.
True.
But this was the fifth meeting of something called the European Political Community, and a lot of people say, well, what's that? And that's basically a body that was set up after Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022 to provide a kind of a talking shop, and that's really what it is for those countries in Europe which are not part of the EU. So that's obviously Britain, but it's also we're talking about a total of more than 40 countries whose leaders were all there. And the main subject really was, how is Europe going to react to the victory of Donald Trump, which almost all of them did not want, with the one notable exception, quite ironically, the host, Viktor Orban, the Hungarian leader, who'd said that if Trump won, he was going to crack open the champagne.
Yes. I mean, I guess Giorgia Meloni won't mind Trump being in charge. And, things are not going well in Germany, are they? Because everything seems to be sort of shunting slightly to the right in Europe at the moment, one way or another. And certainly they are uniting or beginning to unite around the issue of immigration and what to do about it.
Yeah, I mean, immigration is really dominating everything, or it has been for the past few months. You're right, Giorgia Meloni is also, I mean, she's sort of been playing quite a clever game. She wasn't sort of burning her bridges either way. She could have worked well with Kamala Harris. She could have worked well with Trump. So, you know, Trump will be good for her. It'll strengthen those on the right in European politics. And as you say, yeah, Germany is in the midst of a little bit of a political crisis of its own, because Olaf Scholz, who's been Chancellor there for the past 3 years, on Wednesday evening, he just had enough of his rather fragile three-party coalition. He sacked his finance minister, who's from the sort of a small kind of right-of-centre Liberal Party, and the country is now plunged into a crisis because he said he's going to hold a vote of confidence, which he's inevitably going to lose, and which is going to lead to new elections. But he doesn't want to hold it until January. So he basically wants to hang on. I don't know if it's because it's to do with his pension or because he just likes being there.
Just wants to be there for Christmas,
whatever.
maybe.
Exactly. And it's so-called, Germany is stuck with what is called, they're calling the zombie government until the end of the year, except that Friedrich Merz, who's the leader of the centre-right, the sort of the Tory equivalent Christian Democrats, wants him out. So there's a kind of a battle going on between these two men as to when they're going to have a vote of confidence and when they're going to call fresh elections, which could be in January, which could be as late as March.
Yeah. And so when they are coalescing around what to do with Donald Trump and what to do about Donald Trump and how to approach whatever he may say about NATO or the EU or trade tariffs or anything like that, I mean, did they come up with any conclusions?
I mean, not really. I mean, this is all a little bit like, you know, last time round when Trump got in, and this sort of led to this huge shock about what he would do. Would he pull America out of NATO, which is sort of a prime concern? What would he do on defence spending? What would he make the Europeans do on defence spending? So we're kind of rerunning through all that. You know, in one sense, Trump wasn't as bad as everyone thought he was going to be last time. Right. This time round, no one thinks he's going to pull. America's going to leave NATO. But, you know, things are obviously going to change. Trump is going to continue banging on as he did in the past, and perhaps quite rightly, that Europe should pay more for its own defence, particularly because that demand that he made after he came to power before, Europeans responded. People have been spending more on their defence. You know, there's this magic figure of 2% of GDP that countries pledged some years ago to spend on military, and it was about 20 or so that did that. Now we're up to 30 of them who are doing it. So, you know, it's had an effect. But you know, the thing with Trump is you never quite know what he's going to do, what sudden policy he's going to pull out, and that's a bit upsetting for the Europeans who are used to a very kind of consensual system, getting agreement behind themselves, moving very, very slowly. And Trump is just, Trump just doesn't work like that, as you know.
No, exactly right. Peter, thanks very much indeed. We've got to run, sorry, but we were out of time. Europe editor of the Sunday Times, Peter Conradi there.